Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Let's Learn the Law. My name is Suraya Ali Dumalititi. I am your community paralegal. And please, if you're a newcomer here, welcome and kindly subscribe to AATV. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you very much. We really appreciate you a great deal. Okay, so today we are discussing the Disability Act, Act 715 of 2006. You may or may not know, but yes, there is a law out there that's guiding the lives of persons living with disabilities. And from here on out, I would use PWD anytime I want to mention persons living with disabilities. So please take note, okay? All right, thank you. So let's get to it. Now, every bit of the law is important, okay? But then there are some key pointers I want us to look at that if you and I observe them, it will go a long way in helping make the life of PWDs a little less challenging. So let's get to it. The law was enacted in 2006 and is the 715th law by the Parliament of Ghana. After the law was passed, there was a 10-year moratorium placed on it that would afford stakeholders the opportunity to mend their ways and put measures in place to ensure that they go according to the law. It's a 10-year moratorium in 2006, so now it's like what, 17 years? Yes. So it's unfortunate that yes, even though we've come a long way, there is more room for improvement. More room for improvement because persons with disabilities still go about their lives with challenges that should be avoided. But like I told you from the beginning of this program, the whole notion of the organizers of this program is that even though, yes, we do have beautiful laws, the implementation is a difficulty. We believe part of it is because we do not know most of our laws. The ordinary person out there doesn't know this and that about the law, and that's why it's difficult to, implement some of our laws. And so, yes, the disability law is no exception as far as this situation is concerned. So today we are looking at a few that you and I can just look at or make some changes just to help make their lives a bit easier. All right, so the right to family life and social activities. Per the law, no person shall deprive a PWD the right to live with his or her family because of their disability, or nobody shall deprive the person with disability from participating in any social or political or economic or creative or recreational activities. The law is against that. The fact that the person is a PWD does not mean that they do not have the right to engage in activities like any other person out there, nor does it mean they do not have the right to live with their family just because of their disability. So please, let's take note of that. Also, differential treatment in respect of residents. This is very important. You shall not deprive the person with a disability a residence or place to live. If you are a landlady or landlord out there, for instance, and a PWD comes to you, to rent a room or an apartment, you shall not turn the person away because they're disabled and you don't want them in your building, okay? Or you shall not give them differential treatment just because they're disabled, unless you're giving them the differential treatment to make their challenge a bit easier. For instance, if your place is a story building and the PWD comes and you thought it wise to give them the ground floor room or first floor just to ensure that they are not very challenged. Maybe the person is a physically challenged person and so mobility is a bit of a challenge, and because of that you thought to give them the ground floor, then that's okay because you're doing them that just to help with their challenge somehow. So other than this, the law is against it, and this is very serious because you could actually go to prison for 3 months or pay a penalty, 50 units of penalty. And 50 penalty units will be like what, 600 cedis. So it's no joke. So you could either pay about 600 Ghana cedis or go to prison for 3 months, or both. So please, let's take note. Let me just calm down home so we get this message across. Now, near can say ye can ye run a kafa sebi o omo teachma. Ghana mra ya shisha ekura omo teachma abrabono. HRS, so you be a we landlady and a landlord. Nami patrol will be a said you in Matchma, about also behind dine, be a said you will tell into own person of a man and dine now come and let's say, no be echo report to what's me could dim 3 months, and now Chasica, bit me cheer to this kind of 6 million. With me cheer no was I could dim, and I saw be cheer and a pay, and a book could dim. It's a new joke, Miss Ramoyana, ya share no nonso, because Nipano, when you want it, man, and I'll say you already them no, and she say no ninty. Oh, permanent say when it means na, and I be bisa, and I say be our man, and I say you, and no knowing because Ojin say, and then a fatano. Na sɛbi owu de ama ne brɛ so ate wɔ kwan bi so anyɛ saa deɛ mmara no ɛne wobɛdi no nwonwonwonwo nti yɛ a na yɛahyɛ no so abin da dai nake faɗi ne in kai mai gida ne in kana nan wani da ke da aibi jikin shi ya zo neman daki wurin ka in kana duban saboda aibin jikin shi ba ka yi ka zamna da shi sa ba ka ba shi dakin ko za ka ba shi wani dakin da bai kamata ka ba mutum ya zamna ciki ba in yan hukuma suka kama ka ba ka samun shi sauki sam don akwai takardar doka na raunanu da ke gwada cewa kamar kai mai gida ne wani ya zo neman daki wurin ka mai shi raunin ne shi dai ka ce za ka ma mai shi wani sakiyan daki don ka taimaki mai shi raunin mai shi amma in dai za ka ma mai shi za ka ba mai shi wurin da bai kamata ka ba mutum ba ko za ka kori mai shi kai tsaye don dai mai shi ya zama mai rauni in doka ya kama ka ka ce sarka kamar watanni 3 ko ka biya sabin kudi tsofin kudi nan 6 million so ya hakuri she mu duba wannan da kyau okay all right so let's move on to a different right so the living conditions in specialized establishments so with this particular one it talks about those PWDs whose disability makes them need a specialized establishment. Some people with their disabilities make them be confined in a special place or special home or something like that. The law is saying that their disability calls for them to be put in specialized establishments, all right, but it shouldn't be far away from people their age because their emotional and psychological needs are to be considered. So yes, you should be around people their age. Okay, so when they are teenagers, it should be at a place where there are teenagers around that they can, hang around with or have their peers to engage with, just so that emotionally and psychologically they are also taken care of. So let's consider that as well. And then the exploitation of and discrimination against disability. Now, the law is saying that a person shall not discriminate against or exploit or subject any PWD to any degrading treatment. It's against the law for you to do that. Okay, so if you're an employer, for instance, and a PWD comes to you seeking employment, you cannot turn the person away because of their disability. You can only do so if they lack the competence for the position they're seeking, or unless the disability is in respect with the employment opportunity or position. Otherwise, you can't turn them away. If authorities get hold of this information, you'll be in hot waters because it's an offense punishable by the law, and you could go to jail for 3 months, or you could pay a penalty of up to 50 units. Yeah. Access to public places and also access to public services. If you are an occupier or an owner of a public space and the PWD comes to you, you cannot turn the person away. There are 2 things the law is asking you to do. Make the place available and then make the place accessible. Available in the sense that some people, perhaps the person runs a hotel or a restaurant or any public space that is available, that's out there for the public to patronize. It will surprise you to learn that even till date, some people still openly discriminate against PWDs. Someone might openly tell you that or something like that, that you can't come there just because you're a person with a disability. We've come a long way, and it's unfortunate that there is still, 1 or 2 issues like this still cropping up. But then, yes, it is happening. So the law is telling you have to make the place available to everybody, including persons with disabilities. So make the place available to them and make the place accessible. accessible in the sense that make your structures friendly so that they can access it. I recently went to a program, a 3-day training, so you can imagine the stress I went through. I am a person with a disability myself. I'm physically challenged, and I went to this training, and the place is not friendly at all. Ironically, we're discussing issues including disability related issues, and the organizers decided to organize the program at such a place. Okay, and I wasn't the only physically challenged there. We were about what, 4 PWDs, I think 2 physically challenged. So one auntie and then myself are the physically challenged ones. And this place is so unfriendly that even when you're going to use the washroom, you have to ascend and descend stairs. It was so stressful, you know. And in fact, I made my inconvenience known because we can't be fighting this since 2006 and still be going through challenges like this. It's avoidable. Okay, make your place accessible. Just put together a ramp of some sort. Imagine if I was in a wheelchair, you know. So please, let's do what the law is saying before you're found wanting, because ignorance of the law doesn't excuse you. You know that. Okay, all right. So it also the public service. If you are someone who provides service to the public, you shall put in place the necessary structures to ensure that your place is accessible and available to persons living with disabilities. Education of PWDs. If you're a parent of a child with a disability, you shall take the child to school if the child is still of school going age. You cannot decide to let the child stay at home because of their disability. When we're treating the Children's Act, we mentioned this. You cannot put their education in jeopardy or put the future of the person in jeopardy and decide not to take them to school because they have a disability. That is a no-no according to the law. All right. Also, the government provide free education for PWDs and establish special schools for PWDs who by reason of their disability cannot be enrolled in formal schools. Yes, we do have some special schools in this country. We have the Garden City School here in Ashanti region. We have the Kropon School for the blind, the Cape Coast School for the blind. We have New Horizon School. We have the WA School for the blind. We have Three Kings Special School in Accra. Yes. So yes, we do have some special schools around. So if you're a parent with a child with a disability, please, you have no excuse. All right, because the government has made provisions, even though yes, there are challenges, but you have no excuse in not taking the person to school. So kindly let's take note of that. All right, and if you're a school owner, you cannot turn a PWD away from being admitted to your school because of their disability, unless the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, and Ministry of Social Protection have all vetted or assessed the person's disability and have come to the conclusion that your school cannot house that person unless that person is taken to a special school. That way you're freed. Otherwise, you would be in trouble if you're found. The person who commits this offense is liable on summary conviction to a fine not exceeding 10 penalty units, so it's less than the 600 cedis, or to a term of imprisonment not exceeding 14 days. So this one is like 14 days at most. But still, please, let's do the needful. All right. So the next one is reserve seat on vehicles or transportation. It's important that we know this. If you're someone who operates a vehicle, here we deal with trotros a lot. So if you're a trotro owner and you are loading people in your vehicle, please make sure you leave 2 seats for PWDs, preferably the front seat, okay, until your vehicle is full and there is no person with disability around, then you can fill those 2 seats. It's very important that we take note of that. It is a oka trotro now we a trotro mate now lodu okana misro ya na weja 2 seats. I'm a PWD obi a omo atechima no, unless aka me ya ma na obi asam ma ya na odi nipa foforo atena ho nti preferably say bia front seat no na we jam wo mo nti the emra no e kan derogatory names. Nobody shall use any derogatory names or remarks on the PWD. You shall not call PWDs names. Like some derogatory names are being used. I don't even want to mention them. But the law is telling you it's an offense, and if you're caught, you'll be made to pay for it. So let's all take note of that. All right, so there's a lot to be discussed, and in the coming episodes, we'll look at them. Today, we are looking at just these ones. Pointers for today: disability is a perception, because at least there is that one thing that a person with a disability is good at. Okay, hence he or she is valuable to someone. Also, the challenge is not the disability, but all the hindrances in the path of the PWD that slows accessibility and inclusion. So let's remove them on their way. So this is where we will draw the curtain for today. Please like and share this so we can all benefit from it. And also you can drop your comments at the comment section. We will take a look at them, or any question you might have. My name is Raya Lidumalititi. Until next time, take care of yourself. And the next time you see a person with a disability, please try to see beyond what you see when you look at them. Thank you and bye.